In this video, what we're going to look at is a part of OET grammar called participle clauses. Okay, in order for us to do this properly, what we're going to look at is a little bit on sentence structure, the grammar rules of participle clauses, and some examples, and then I'll give you a little bit of advice at the end. Okay, so let's talk first of all about sentence structure. Let's just get some basics in our head organized about what sentences are. Okay, let's go and have a look. So have a look at these sentences. Now, all of these sentences have something in common. All right, all of them have something in common. They all combine ideas. There's more than one thing being said. It's not just a simple sentence. It's not Mr. Smith underwent surgery, okay? It's Mr. Smith underwent surgery due to having a broken wrist, okay? In this one, we've got being warned about her alcohol consumption. Mrs. Johnson did not change her lifestyle. Here we've got, I'm writing regarding Mr. Harmison. He's recovering from a hip replacement and requires physiotherapy. Mrs. Bennett lives alone. Consequently, let me put a comma there, she requires assistance with her ADLs. Here we've got experienced severe vomiting. Mr. Green presented to our emergency department. Okay, so there's more than one idea. There are at least two ideas in each one. Now I'm going to highlight the phrase in each one that allows us to do it. Okay, first one, due to. Next one, despite. Next one, who. Next one, consequently. And in this one here, it's this part. So when I look at this is the way I think of it. In this one, I have put a linker in which allows me to introduce a cause. In this one, I've used a linker, despite, that allows me to show contrast. I'm combining two ideas together and showing that they contrast with each other. In this one, I've used a relative pronoun to introduce a relative clause. In this one, it's a new sentence and I've chosen to use consequently, which shows me a result. And in this one here, I've got a participle clause. So this one's a bit different to all of the others in that it links two sentences together. But all of the others, inside one sentence, we've got two ideas. And that's what we should think about. When we write longer sentences, we are adding new ideas to the first idea. Okay? That's basically what we're doing when we write longer sentences. Okay, I'm going to put longer like this. Okay, and the way we do this is through linking devices, and it affects our sentence structure. So we have sections of sentences. Now in this one, that's a clause because we've got a subject and a verb. Having a broken wrist is not a clause. It's a noun that follows this type of linker, which is a preposition. So that is a noun phrase. Same with this one, being warned, that is a noun phrase. This is a clause. This is a clause. This is called the main clause. This is a relative clause. Then we've got two different sentences. Here we've got our participle clause and then our main clause. So it's important to go through and try and practice all of these things. You've got cause, result, contrast, addition, relative clauses, participle clauses. What you're doing is you're making long sentences that are made of different ideas, and you combine those ideas together with different relationships. Okay? So that's what we're doing when we're making sentences and we're making longer ones. Now this is just a very brief look at it, just to show you where participle clauses fit in. Participle clauses are just another example of combining multiple ideas in one sentence. Okay, so let's talk about the grammar of it. Let's talk about the rules. Okay, what I'll do is I'll go through some main facts about participle clause grammar. Okay, so let's have a look. So using a participle clause enables us to combine two ideas in one sentence. That's the first thing we need to know about it. Participle clauses are concerned with sequence of events. Okay? Participle clauses are not strictly connected to tense. Okay, so tense is when something occurs in reality. Did it happen in the past? Is it going to happen in the future? Is it happening now? That's what tense is about. So yes, sequence of events is when something happened related to when something else happened. Okay, that's what sequence is. There are two main types of participle clause. You've got present participle and perfect. Okay, the two main types that will be used in OET. And one last thing that we might see today, we should always consider if the passive is involved. Like with all of the linkers that require nouns, we should always consider whether the passive is involved. It's always a good thing to remember. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples and talk about some grammar. So a present participle. The first thing to think about participle is that it is a form of a verb. And you probably all know the past participle. And the past participle is the verb 3, isn't it? So I have eaten. That is the past participle. And people generally know that. The present participle is the verb plus ing. It gets used in different ways. It can be used in continuous tenses. And it can be used in gerunds. But it's still a present participle. It could also be used in participle clauses. So don't think of it as a continuous, don't think of it as a gerund, think of it as a present participle. The way to think about it is like a potato. Sometimes it's a chip, sometimes it's mashed, sometimes it's boiled, okay? Sometimes it looks like a potato, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always a potato. So let me give you an example. When we talk about this situation, Mrs. Johnson, 6 children, feel often overwhelmed. Okay, so how can I put those together? I'm trying to make a story in my mind. Now, present participle clauses are used to show that two things or events, okay, are true at the same time. Okay, with a suggestion of a cause and result. Okay, there's a suggestion of a cause and result. So if I wrote this sentence, my present participle clause begins with an ing. So what verb would you use with 6 children? I think it would be have. Okay. Having 6 children, Mrs. Johnson often feels overwhelmed. Okay, now you might think to yourself, Mrs. Johnson often feels overwhelmed because she has 6 children. And you would be right to say that. Okay, but this participle clause, what it's trying to say is, this is true at the same time as this. Okay, so this bit here, this is our present participle clause. This is true and this is true, same time. Yeah, there is a suggestion of cause and result, absolutely. But that is our present participle. Now what I would say is this, it's not very commonly used in OET writing. It won't often be used. It might be used more frequently in reading, but possibly not so much in the writing, the present participle. But it's good to know it. Okay, this is the present participle. Let me tell you about the perfect participle. Okay, perfect participle. This one is a bit different. This is used to show that one event or action or situation, okay, is true before another event, action, or situation. Okay, so the way we make it, because it's the perfect participle, think about how we use the perfect. We always put have, don't we, as an auxiliary verb before the past participle. Well, the perfect participle is having plus the past participle. Okay, so having done, having eaten, having left, having gone, having won, having spoken, okay, having flown. All of those are examples of perfect participles. So if we look at this one, let's think about what happened. All right, the traffic accident happened before the presentation to ED, the emergency department. That's what happened. The traffic accident happened first, then he presented at the emergency department. Again, there is a suggestion of cause and result. But actually, the truth is that they're trying to say this happened first and that happened next. So let me show you. I'm thinking a verb for Mrs. Fredrickson here could be involved, involved in. So, having been involved in a traffic accident, comma, Mrs. Fredrickson presented at our ED or our emergency department. Okay, so this is where it gets a bit tricky. I mentioned the passive earlier. Just imagine we wrote this with and. You would say, Mrs. Fredrickson, was involved in a traffic accident and presented at our emergency department. So what's that? Was involved. Okay, so what you've got there is a passive, and whenever you have the passive, you've got to put that in as well in your participle clause. So that is our participle clause, but it could be having broken his hand, Mr. Smith underwent surgery. Having experienced vomiting, Mr. Smith required attention from a gastroenterologist. So it's about showing that one event happens before another. Now, I think that this is useful for OET writing, more useful than the present participle. Okay? Imagine 13th of June, Mr. Smith present GP clinic. Okay, and he says 2-week history, vomiting. All right, okay. What you can do here that is really neat, very concise, sounds professional. Having experienced vomiting for 2 weeks, Mr. Smith presented at my clinic on the 13th of June. Now that's really neat, isn't it? That's a really good thing to do. That's a nice solution. Okay. Now you could say he presented at my clinic on the 13th of June with a 2-week history of vomiting. Okay, you could do it. I'm not stopping you from doing it, but that is really nice. Another way to do it would be to use past perfect, Mr. Smith presented at my clinic on the 13th of June. He had experienced vomiting for 2 weeks previously. There are other solutions. But this is a nice way as well. It's just another way. It's another brush in your toolkit, okay, in your paint box. And I said earlier on that these things are not strictly tied to tense, okay? In this case, yes, past perfect would be okay, all right? But you don't have to tie it. So I could put something like this. Having lost my keys, I cannot access my house. Okay, that is in the present simple. So what we're saying is that this bit comes before this bit. It doesn't have to have a tense. It doesn't have to be in the past. Okay, it can be, this bit just has to come before this one. And this bit can be any tense you like. All right, so the whole point of this session is just to introduce the grammar of participle clauses. And I think that what's important is that you learn the grammar, okay? This is an introduction. This shows you what you can do. You can definitely take what we've put in this class and you can do some sentences and you can send it over to someone and get some feedback, all right? Talk to a teacher. That would be a really good thing to do. In our school, obviously, we do letters and we do classes with homework. You can experiment, all right? And my general advice about grammar is practice a little bit every day, even if it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Write a couple of sentences, get that sentence structure really clear in your head, okay? So I hope that was useful. We're going to be doing obviously lots more than that in other videos and in school, in all the classes that we've got. But practice every day and you'll improve a lot. Okay. And if anyone here is watching live, if you want perfect participle worksheets or anything like that, put a comment underneath if you'd like to talk to us about it, and we'll be very, very happy to get in touch with you. Okay, so have a really great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.